Machel Montano in the building.
Monty.
BLS. The monk is here.
The monk is...
Monty.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
You know, I saw the beginning of your performance.
Right?
And...
Tonight.
And I thought about how long... you did it so natural, so normal. You didn't have to put no extra thing into it. It just happened so natural. And I says, that comes from a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
That comes from a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
That comes from a lot of ups and downs. That you were able to take your energy and pour it all into that performance, which seems so like amazing.
It's a lot of love. And not just coming from me, coming from the fans. I come like a mirror reflecting their love. You know, not just their love for soca music, but their love for being Caribbean and their love for being in a city like New York, but feeling appreciated and feeling their roots and their culture. We had every flag out there tonight, and we getting closer and closer together. You know, that we understand each other and we feeding off the same vibration. But Dahved, the first time I used to go out and try to sing power soca, like 3 power soca songs back to back. Right. Because I know, you know, somebody had to bring that kind of Michael Jackson energy with power soca. Right. The first time I tried to do that, it was big truck, footsteps, something. I used to run on, start singing, and I used to have to run to the back of the stage and throw up. Because I couldn't do it. The energy was too much. I had to run and throw up. And I'll be hiding from the audience, throwing up, and running back out on stage to kind of keep the energy going.
No, but hey, are we taping that? Okay. Nobody's going to believe that.
No, never. And over the years, I had to figure out how to do this with that level of energy. And it's almost like you have to work with the audience and you have to ride with them like a wave. Like if you're surfing. So you hit them up and let them go up, and then you just surf on that energy. Right. And then you come back and hit them again.
Can you surf?
No, I can't. I can crowd surf. But that is what you just explained, seeing tonight, is many, many years of studying it and working it out and understanding there's a relationship between you and the fans. And you have to utilize each other to share that kind of...
I want to bring spirituality into this.
Yeah, man.
You're a very spiritual guy.
Very much so.
Very much so. How much does that play into your everyday life, or how much does spirituality play into your musical life?
Spirituality plays into life. That's the first thing. Let's define what spirituality is, because a lot of people feel spirituality is religion, or they feel spirituality is some sort of magic or some sort of this. Anytime you go beyond the physical, you're in the spiritual. Anything beyond physical is spiritual. And if you know you're standing here as a human being and you're getting vibrations and you can feel somebody's heartbeat, or you can feel somebody's energy over the room, you're in the spiritual. You're in that thing that is between us that is still molecules, but it's not, you can't see it, but you could move it. And it within you and it within me. So I live that in life in general. That spiritual place. And how to get spiritual is the best places to go within your own self. You have to sit down, you have to be quiet, you have to learn to be silent, you have to learn to be still. Because once you still the body, the only thing left to still is the mind. And once you let those two things still, there's something else that is there, which is the thing that gathers the body and gathers the mind, and that vibration, that spirituality. This is how music come through the ether. Musical ideas. You and I could have the same idea for the same song in the same day, and I could go in the studio and record it before you, and you'll think, wow, how did he think of that? Because it's in the atmosphere. And if you tune in right, you could pull it down. A lot of people pull these vibrations down. So things come from us, from the trees, from the rivers, from the seas. Bob and them used to go up in the mountains, and Peter Tosh, and they used to live. They get their energy. Edwin Year would tell me he used to go and sit down on a rock out by the sea in Barbados to write his songs. Me, I like the jungle. You know what I mean? I love the ocean. I love a river. And I will get these energies that not coming from a physical person or a stone. It's just coming from out there. And that's the spiritual world.
Could mentality be a part of spirituality?
Of course.
Can they go both hand in hand?
But when you say mentality, you're either talking about your mentality, the person's mentality, and it's definitely that. If you could become open enough, you could access more levels of spirituality than ever. To be open, you have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to ask a question, who am I?
Who would believe that the whiner boy is talking like this?
Well, I mean, come on, I had to figure it out. As a young child. I was famous two years out of the gate. 1984, I was in Madison Square Garden with Mighty Sparrow. Everybody loved me. 1986, I had Too Young to Soca, Eddie Grant. Everybody loved me. And then from 1987, 88, 89, 90, it was all failures. I couldn't find a hit. I have records piled up in my mother and father attic. Boxes of albums that I did that didn't sell.
What kind of albums were those that you had piled up? What were they, international albums like Earth, Wind and Fire, Brothers Johnson, the Bee Gees, or there were authentic
there was
Sparrow?
There was soca, Sparrow, Kitchener vibe. I worked with in 1988. I worked with David Rudder when David Rudder was very popular, and he was giving me that kind of Calypso land vibe. So they was trying to cross the music, and I was working with Granville Straker from out of Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy. We was trying to record like the Shadows style of hits. I was working with Frankie Francis, Frankie McIntosh, and I just couldn't find a hit because I was a child trying to sing in an adult world, and I wasn't reaching any of the audiences. I wasn't reaching the children, and I wasn't reaching the adults.
At least you're very honest about it, though.
No, the records there, the boxes of records there, because we were trying to sell them, and we couldn't sell them, and I was using my parents' salaries, their incomes, and it just was, we were losing money. And then I decided in 1991 to produce my own music. And I look at people like Teddy Riley, and I saw him, producing his records on a Casio FC1 and using the talk box. And I said, let me produce my own music. But I also wanted to write my own songs. And my parents went to Winsford Devines, who was one of the top writers in Calypso. He wrote for, Baron and Sparrow and all of them. And we said, we want to write about Africa. And we had a song called Take Me Back, Africa. We said, we want to write about going back to the roots of Africa. I want to be in your arms again. Take me back, Africa. I want to share your sorrow and pain. Take me back, Africa. You understand? My roots in Nigeria. Take me back.
You know what that remind me of? Hello, hello, Africa.
Yeah.
Hello, Africa.
That's Eddie Grant, right?
Eddie Grant.
Yeah.
How you doing, Africa? How you doing, Africa?
This was a smash hit for me in 1991. So after failing in 87, 88, 89, 90, I couldn't take it no more. And I was like, and this song helped me win the Young King Calypso competition in Trinidad. I'll never forget it. I was just graduated from high school, and I was like really excited to win that crown. And then 1992, I didn't make it again. Failure.
Wow.
And I was ready to quit. And I went to Kenny Phillips and I said to him, look, I think I'm going to quit this year and stop doing music and pursue law.
And pursue being a pilot.
Law. I always wanted to be a lawyer. I can argue real good.
You can argue good. Okay.
And he said no, and we did a song called By All Means. And with By All Means, go down low, mama ding ding, go down low. I just happened to be a hit in New York City. I was in Tilden Hall with Preacher and Chala and Super Blue
and McLeod,
Iowa George and McLeod. And those runs there was a place called oh man, I can't remember the backyard there, this backyard, but there was all these different backyards in New York and Tilden Hall and New York, which is why it was so important to receive the keys to the city for New York tonight and see these people and let them know that, part of my career was established here, my teenage career after being a child star in Trinidad.
Right.
New York City.
You have the key on you now?
No, I don't have the key on me right now. We unlocking the treasury, everything with that key. We unlocking the Apollo this weekend. We unlocking everything.
Let's take a short break and come back. Let's talk about the Apollo. But before we take the break, why was the Apollo so important for you?
Well, I haven't done it in my senses. I think I went to the Apollo back in 1984. I had a manager named Margot Jordan who used to manage, she used to work WBLS.
Right.
And we went there. I remember Jimmy Buffett, Mike Tyson, El DeBarge. It was a big night. And I remember taking pictures with all of them, and I went home and we said, let's look at the pictures, just develop the film. We opened the camera, there was no film. Right? But I do remember being in the building, and I was so young. That was back in the days of Star Search. I was 9, 10.
Wow.
So for me, I know the significance of Harlem. I know the significance of the Apollo Theater Amateur Night. People like Steve Harvey, people like Dougie Fresh, everybody who came out of there and what it means to go into a venue like that. The walls seeped with greatness.
The log.
the log, the tree of hope, the stump of hope, which is a tree that entertainers put their hands on for good luck and all of that.
Thousands of entertainers.
Yeah, thousands of people. I touched it. So to me, this is a time for soca music. I think soca music is about to go to a height that has never been seen before. We have enough soca coming from the entire Caribbean, every island, and we're getting the respect finally that we deserve. And it's just for us to synchronize that with the message of hope, the message of unity of all Caribbean people now. We spent enough years saying rice and peas is the best, arroz con pollo is the best, pilau is the best, cook up is the best, chicken curry, curry chicken, doubles, chilled chicken. This time we need to talk about how united we are and how diverse we are in our music. We have soca music. He was just playing some dancehall there by Skeng and these guys, and it's something like soca.
Right.
It's one beat. And it sounds like reggaeton too, because that is our beat.
That's our beat. Caribbean Fever 107.5 WBLS, Dahved Levy rocking you. We have got Machel Montano in the house. Early this morning, listen, he just received the key, the entertainment key to New York City. On the stage in Royal Wilkins Park. I mean, amazing.
And I wanted to go home. And Nasty was like, Machel, please come downstairs and record this one song for me. I was like, Nasty, I'm tired. He said, just freestyle it. And I went on there, was like, Jambalasi, Jambalasi. I was like, hey, ha, hey, because I was so angry, man. I was just, to release the energy was just this who's and this hey-has. And I didn't know where it come from. And after studying meditation, I learned that was somewhat of noises that they use, like hongsa, hey, ha. These spiritual songs. So it was something coming from within. But again, as the next thing was born right here, yeah. We used to be Subi and Tupi, we used to be Lyman and all those, what do they call that, aristocrat mano. Right. And Bounty Killer was big. And you used to go, yeah. And we used to just be coming in when I was seeing them on a number and And on Big Truck, I put that in.
They put it in the Big Truck.
So when you hear anybody say no, somebody say yeah.
They come from Machel Montano on the crew.
Which get it from Bounty Killer, but somebody say it's Machel Montano.
It's Machel Montano. Road March.
We was hunting Road March songs, man. This was one of our biggest Road March songs ever. This was written by the Lord Kitchener's son, Colonel Roberts.
Right.
He wrote Everybody Take a Jump is Carnival.
He wrote Palance too.
He wrote Palance, so he had a lot of big Road March songs.
And I heard that he gave you Palance and you didn't want it.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't give me Palance. 2010, I wasn't in Trinidad.
Right.
You see, every time I step away from a carnival, there were few carnivals that I miss. 2010 was one. The first one was in the year 2001. I came back in 2003. I missed 2001 and 2002. I came back in 2003 with Is Carnival. And that's how I got back in. But then I took 2010 off because I went to tour with Pitbull.
Right.
I went out on tour with Pitbull, and that was the year I did for GB&M. All right, you want to back on me, and it's so tight. We love the Ramage when they brought the Ramage. I recorded that whole album in GB's basement, and I was off of Carnival. I went on tour with Pitbull, and Pitbull and I remixed Ramage.
Right.
So it didn't have. I wasn't there to follow up 2009 and 2007 Road Marches. So he wrote that song for me, but he gave it to JW and Blaze.
Right.
So that would have been another Machel Road March.
Right.
Right now, I'm sitting on 10 Road March hits, exact with Super Blue.
Right.
The only man with more is Kitchener, which is Colonel's father. He has 11.
That's 11. So are you poised to go after another Road March too?
Listen, David, I always focus on trying to do 11 and be equal with Kitch.
Right.
But I always feel somewhere in there, you never know, 12 might happen and I might be the greatest of all time. But I hung up that view because I thought, trying to think about road marches when I feel like we could take soca to the world. I'm very inspired by Burna Boy and Wizkid and Ira Star and Rema and what they're doing for Afrobeats music. I think we could do it with soca. I think it's time for us to, up our game. So I started to concentrate on that over the last 2 years, and the road march dream just started drifting back. I said, you know what, even if I have to stay with 10 and just focus on something bigger, which is taking the music and the message to the world, because it takes a lot of effort to keep winning road marches. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, how, like, give me an idea. How long do you start writing for a carnival with a song that you would like for a road march?
Well,
3 months, 4 months, 2 months?
My first road march was written here in New York it was the big truck. And I
Right.
was like really thinking about how to win a road march. And I was like, you know what? Let me sing about the biggest thing in Carnival. And it was the truck. Because everybody wanted to be on the truck. All the girls want to jump behind the truck, run behind the truck, you know what I mean? Ride the truck. So I was
A lot of people believe that the big truck though was a woman.
well, it was actually this girl that was happening in Toronto and New York and following us all over, and she was big. And it was a metaphor for ride the truck, hold on
Right.
to the big truck, ride it. But it was a metaphor.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you know, it played together well. And I wrote that song here in New York, recorded it here in New York. Again, I was living on Utica. I had Shell Shock do the drums, and I did all the truck noises and all the thing. And then now, you know, so we want to keep going. And it takes us sometimes, we'll find that when I was on stage with Big Truck in 1997, with Poison, people was running on the stage, getting on bad, they would push us off the stage, the security, and then the people would be chanting, let's go back on, they want to go back on.
Right.
And I will turn around the crowd, play the truck horn, and they'll charge back on the stage. And then I was like, wow, you see how they're charging? They're looking like mad bulls running. And then immediately, right there, Ash Wednesday, I get the idea for the next road march, which was Toro Toro. But
Charge Toro.
but we didn't win. We came second to a song that I wrote with Farmer Nappy called Footsteps.
Right.
And we wrote that song from going on the boat ride for Circle Line.
Right.
Circle Line down there on the West Side Highway.
On 34th Street.
We went on a boat ride. We went downstairs to light up,
Right.
me and Farmer. And the soca was playing upstairs. And we hearing everybody going, chop, 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 chop. And Farmer was like, yo, you hearing that? Hear me what? He bought footsteps. Footsteps. And every time he say footsteps, I say stamp it harder. Footsteps. Stamp it harder. Footsteps. Stamp it on the ground. On the ground. Yo, we wanted to jump off that boat and swim to Brooklyn. We wanted to swim to Brooklyn to go in the studio to record that immediately. That was another road march for us, back to back. So sometimes you get the ideas, and that would have been during summer in New York.
Right.
So we had to hold that idea all the way till January.
Wow.
You know?
I remember we had the big that big ship that go to Staten Island.
Yeah,
Remember,
Staten Island Ferry.
remember we had a big concert on the ferry?
Yeah.
Where a woman had to give birth?
Yeah. Crazy. Yo, we had some of the craziest days in New York City, man. And that big hits, and you know, there's a lot of history, which is why I'm saying going to the Apollo is something we have never done before. We never reached up Harlem to do it.
You know what? I was talking to a guy the other day, and you know, Bob Marley did lots of nights in the Apollo Theater.
Really?
Yes.
A lot of nights?
Yes, like maybe 5 or 6 nights, back to back in the Apollo Theater.
Wow.
Same thing that you're doing, he did. And don't forget, Bob Marley's thing was to reach the black American market.
Right.
He had the white market down pat, but he was trying to reach, he says, these songs that I'm singing really to help the people of color. But it was a little bit more difficult to him to reach that. And one of the reasons that he did that was to go into the Apollo, that he would attract that black crowd from Harlem to hear him sing.
And you see, we know how to fit. We know about backyard jams. We know about parading on the streets for Labor Day. There is something about going in these special halls and feeling an emotion behind the music, being able to perform the music a different way. I am sculpting that show from tomorrow. I sit down and I'm going to sculpt what I'm going to do at the Apollo this weekend in a different manner. And trust me, Friday night is going to be different from Saturday night. It's going to be different from Sunday night. And then Monday is a whole total ball game.
Let's start from Monday and come forward.
All right.
What is happening on Monday for Machel Montano at the Apollo?
Monday is the most unique. Monday is called Calypso Uptown. And I'm really, teaming up with TUCO, the Trinidad Calypso, Unified Calypsonians organization that hosts the Dimash Gras show to bring the prime Calypsonians from the Dimash Gras 2024. Machel Montano, I won the Calypso Monarch this year, something that I thought would have never happened. And that is what I was saying. I gave up that road march dream to go back to school.
Right.
Because I wanted to learn about the culture, to be able to write new songs from a new perspective, to take it to the world. And in school, we had a project to write a calypso, and I wrote a calypso that everybody thought was going to be good enough to go in the calypso competition. And my professors and them say, you must go in. Chalk Dust was one of my professors.
Wow.
He said, you must go in. Don't let it waste, he said. Don't waste that. And I just went in for fun and didn't realize that this song was so meaningful, saying that calypso is soca and soca is calypso. And all of a sudden, it picked up momentum and I won. And I would have never dreamed that would happen. And guess what? Without having 12 road matches, I have won the Junior Calypso Monarch, the Young King, the soca monarch, the groovy soca monarch, and now the calypso monarch.
Wow.
No, and the road march. Nobody has done that ever before. So something that I could never have dreamt happened to me by doing that. So this Monday night is about celebrating that with the great soca acts, but alongside the great calypso acts.
Can you give us some of these acts that will be performing with you?
For sure. I mean, let's just start with the calypso because the night is called Calypso Uptown.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
remember the days we had calypso shows at Madison Square Garden for Mother's Day. We wanted to bring that back.
I want to clear up something with some people. People say, yeah, you did Machel at Madison Square, you did a lot of shows. But you did Madison Square Garden before we did Madison Square Garden. You were with McLeod and the crew.
Yeah.
Only thing is that there were a lot of people who became and made the presence basically with you.
Yeah. It was Mighty Sparrow, Lord Kitchener, everybody from Barbados,
right.
Scorcher, this one, that one,
Riley.
Arrow, Riley, everybody. And I was just a little youth. But then to come back and do Madison Square Garden in 2007, and that was the Felt Forum.
Right.
You know, it was just a small 6,000 people. Then we graduated to doing Barclays Center.
Right.
And then UBS, where we selling these thousands. But we didn't hit something as iconic and legendary as the Apollo. So I think Calypso in the Apollo, in this day and age, with a Calypso monarch like Machel Montano and somebody like, Karine Ashe, who's the daughter of Earl Ashe, who used to sing with Ed Watson. Mm-hmm. She came second. Chucky Gordon came third, and somebody called Mikael Teja, who's the Road March King, singing Calypso DNA, the biggest song. He is there, and we have this blend. We have Gypsy present. We have Crazy singing Nanny Wine and all this hits.
I love Crazy.
We have Super Blue. Then we have the young upcoming Aaron Duncan, but then we have so many Calypso stalwarts like Kurt Allen, who's a monarch. Wow. You know what I mean? And then we have Myron B, Gypsy, and Black Sage gonna do an extempo battle. So this is a Calypso vintage night with the new school of Calypso, like Farmer Nappy, lyrical, because these songs like Back in the Backyard, Happy Place in My Life, these are the songs that sound like Calypso today, but they work in the soca world. So it's a sort of marriage of soca and Calypso on that night. Mm-hmm. And, it's going to be a different kind of show from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday is Machel, soca, and now friends. Because I'm bringing some real soca friends to rock the Apollo with me on those nights.
Right.
But Monday is special. Monday is for the folks who love and appreciate Calypso music. They understand songs like Sinking Ship by Gypsy. They understand Little Black Boy by Gypsy. You know what I mean? They understand Ethel and, Rebecca, Super Blue.
Yes.
And you want to see those kind of things in that kind of environment and feel the sweetness of Calypso music. It's Calypso Uptown.
Listen, Caribbean Fever
Ricky
175.
Jai.
Ricky Jai.
Ricky Jai. I almost forget Ricky Jai going to be there alongside Lord Nelson.
Woo!
Now listen, Nelson is 92 years old and performing like he's 19.
Wow.
Still performing. He is going to be doing
Still
songs like My Lover.
Still rubbing up his belly and doing his
winding up the belly, everything.
Belly.
And the voice sweet as ever. I just performed with him to celebrate the US 4th of July in Trinidad. And they honored him as a veteran. So he will be coming on and we're gonna pay tribute to Lord Nelson alongside Ricky Jai.
Listen, here's the deal. Everything is not about selling out, and everything is not to be up in your face all the time. Sometimes you hear what Machel said? He had to give up something, relax from something to get something else.
Yeah.
Right? So this is something, people, that I want you to understand. This is something that we're going to have to give something up, relax something else to make this happen, because this is important.
Everything is not Brooklyn and the Parkway and jamming and just playing on the road. Sometimes you need to come in these arenas and support the music in a different kind of light, because we want to show that we understand the importance of being in Harlem, of the history of black music and Caribbean culture. You understand people like Sidney Poitier and people like Harry Belafonte and some of the local Caribbean acts that came out of Harlem. I think it's important for us to feel that spirit.
And as you do more history too, you'll find out that they're saying that Carnival started in Harlem.
New York Carnival.
Yeah, New York Carnival started in Harlem, yeah.
But I mean, the amount of things I learned about Carnival going back to school, the fact that it started in ancient Egypt.
Yes.
The fact that it crossed across the West Africa and came with all the enslaved people and went to places like New Orleans and everywhere else all the islands from there, but it also went across to Spain, the Mediterranean. It went to Spain and France and England. And to understand that they have two different types of carnival. Have one that is just frolicking and fetting and drinking and festival and food. And then there's one that's ritual, religion, and resistance.
Yes.
From your parents, like Michael Jackson had to move on from Joe Jackson. You know, you have to look for people who would believe in you and motivate you even when you don't have that steam or that energy, because it does happen in this business that you think you just want to quit sometimes.
I'm curious, where did your brother fit in this? Because he was part of the band and he quit.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
to become a pilot.
Well, I mean, Marcus already knew. Remember when I first started singing, Marcus was the one in 1984 going for guitar lessons.
Right.
And that was just your parents making you do something extracurricular. He didn't have no timing. He didn't have no coordination. So he used to call me in the bedroom, pull me by my ears and say, hey, sing this while I strum this. Because for homework, he had to sing and strum something from a book. Mm-hmm. But I would be singing. And that's when my mom said, hey, you have a nice voice. You want to go for vocal training? And I was like, yeah, all right. And the vocal trainer said, you want to sing in the choir? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then the choir people say, you want to sing lead? I was like, okay. Then they was like, you want to sing Calypso? I was like, okay. And then boom, I'm in Madison Square Garden within 2 years. So I was just saying, okay, so Marcus, when this was happening and we started to take it more serious, he didn't really want to play chords and play guitar because he wasn't that great. He was the rhythm guitarist. We had a lead guitarist. And he was like, yo, my love is somewhere else. My love is, I want to be a pilot. I want to fly. And one day he just up and said, look, guys, I think I want to be done with this. And we were cool because he wasn't that good anyway. I mean, he wasn't an exceptional guitarist. You know what I'm saying?
He's an exceptional pilot.
But he's an exceptional pilot. He's an exceptional brother. He's an exceptional businessman. He's an exceptional dad. He is always there in our corner to support us in some serious ways.
Right.
And in terms of keeping the family together and running family business, he's a genius.
How would you respond to persons who would say you bit off a little bit more than you can chew in this situation? And do you feel anyway, does it hurt you in any way that the show is moving not as fast as you expected it to move?
Well, I mean, nothing risk, nothing gain. You have to take big risks sometimes. Mm-hmm. And when the Apollo came to us, this was about doing one show at the Apollo. And, we thought that, we would sell it out instantly. And we really did sell the first show out. But we discussed with them doing more than one show because we know for Labor Day, Monday, 2 years ago, we sold out the Barclays Center, which was X amount of people. So we just thought that it would happen. But what we didn't cater for is the fact that, I was still in school. And when we decided to bite off this, I was also biting off schoolwork and finishing my thesis.
You're doing your thesis?
I'm doing my master's in carnival studies. So for the last month, I've been writing my final thesis. And it was so much work for me that I couldn't concentrate and promote and do what was necessary for us to get the nights done. So we have Friday locked in the bag, Saturday is halfway there, and we still want to sell Sunday. And then we had this opportunity because in my mind, there was always doing something for Calypso. And Calypso is getting a rise again right now. There are a lot of young talent in Calypso, like, I call Karina Ashe and Chuck Gordon and Aaron Duncan. There's a lot of young people doing great things in the Calypso world. And I thought that, the Calypso fraternity reached out to me and say, let's do a show. We were thinking about Brooklyn Museum. We were thinking about Brooklyn Academy of Music. We were thinking about Madison Square Garden even. And then we said to them, we have the Apollo. Let's try it. And the Apollo liked the idea. So then we decided to do a fourth show, which Monday is Calypso, and then 3 nights of soca. We thought it could happen. But it's been a challenge to kind of like get everybody to want to understand why to come to Harlem during Labor Day. But we don't want everybody. We don't want the people who follow Machel. We want those people who are interested in seeing soca and seeing Calypso in a different light, understand what it is like to be in there. A lot of people say, well, we don't want to sit down, but we're not going in there to sit down. We did Madison Square Garden before, and you see the footage, nobody was sitting. Right. That was one of the greatest moments in my life because I couldn't believe seeing all these West Indian flags. And it was not just about doing Trinidad or Trinidadians or Trinbagonians. Mm. It was everybody from every island. So, we take big risks. And, if this doesn't work out for us, at least we tried. But I think I think we have the fans now that we're here this week. We're spending the week. We letting them know what the show is gonna be about. You know, we're gonna put some energy in reaching out to people who might be interested in seeing Super Blue alongside Lord Nelson, alongside me, Caltasia, and seeing that mix of new school and to come and sing along. You know.
Simple question: how can people get tickets?
But people could go on www.apollotheater.org. Just go on Ticketmaster is there. The link is there in my bio in Instagram. But www.apollotheater.org. You can see the seat mapping. You can see what seats still available. And I'm saying this because Saturday, you know, we have people like Skinny Fabulous coming through, Nyla Blackman coming through.
Saw him earlier.
Yeah. And he's coming through to sing his hits. You know, Machel always like to share this spotlight with a lot of the young talent coming up. I believe that some amazing people are doing soca music. Skinny is one of my writers. He wrote things like Happiest Man Alive, Family. You know, he was one of the first artists outside of Trinidad and Tobago to win a road march alongside me and Bungie. And he comes with these great ideas and I just finish them off. You know, and he and Nyla Blackman had a great song, Carnival Come Back Home. When we put that kind of energy on stage, Viking Ding Dong, who is a DJ turned soca artist, one of the biggest guys in the game. He has some great songs. So we want to make sure that we in the Apollo dancing, but we singing along. This is our sing-along night. You know, and enjoy with your wife, your girl, or your husband, or your guy, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Caribbean Fever 107.5 WBLS, Dahved Levy rocking you, Machel Montano in the house. Is there something that you have not accomplished yet that is on your shoulder every morning you get up and says, man, I wish I can, and if you don't mind, can I tell you what I think it may be?
Well, you could do it right now. Go ahead. Okay. You might be right, too.
Not having a big crossover record.
Well, of course, but I mean, not having a big crossover record is good, but I always fear, let me not say fear. I've never really focused on having a big crossover record. I want to have a big crossover sound or big crossover style. You know, and that's what I've been focusing on. Maybe that's why I don't have a big crossover record, because I haven't been looking for hits.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you look at soca's history, what were the big crossover records? Arrow, Hot Hot Hot. Mm-hmm. Who Let the Dogs Out? Tempted to Touch. Turn Me On.
Right.
What are the other songs that these artists have had that has crossover?
None.
It's just one. And sometimes they have that one song and then you don't see them anywhere. I mean, Rupee is still out there doing his thing. You know, Kevin is still out there with Turn Me On.
Alison Heights had Roll It.
Well, Roll was there. Roll was one of them. You know, it was all right. But I just think that we should be working on the style of soca music instead of waiting for every 10 years or every 5 years one of these songs to come out. Because they will keep coming. You will keep getting one every now and then. But, you know, for me, I think I never really focused on that. I wanted to grow organically, and I wanted to do something that would move people. If you watch Machel Montano's work, my work has informed a generation of work. Like when they see after that Take Up Our Record and we did Big Truck and Pretty Girl and Music Farm, that inspired so many other bands and artists to do what they were doing. We had Machel Monday. We were the first band to put on our own show in Trinidad, doing our own music, not playing everybody else's music.
Why did you stop Machel Monday?
Why did I stop Machel Monday? Because I see, to achieve that unachievable goal, to achieve what you just asked me, what am I not getting and what have I not done yet? And it's not really a hit crossover record. It's also, you might want to tie in there, win a Grammy. But how do you win these things? How do you get these records? You have to have a sound. You have to have a message. And I think a lot of my music was always about elevating the carnival experience, elevating the road march, the masqueraders, providing them with a music. Now that I've done that and I've had enough of that, I wanted to focus my energy on changing my message. I really feel as a soca artist, I could sing a more conscious message. I could sing a message that will touch people in a way that I've seen music touch people. I've been inspired by Afrobeats music because half the time the people in the Caribbean don't even know what they're saying. But yet they're feeling something in the message, in the beat, in the way the words roll off the tongue. The way the music is sweet. They don't know what they're saying, but it's saying something to them. And because it's home, it's in us. So I want to kind of step away for a minute and make that record that I've never made. Make that record that's not about winning road march. It's not about mashing up the Fed.
It's just a great record across the board.
It's a great record with great messages and great music. That's my goal from 2025.
How can people get tickets for the Apollo Theater?
www.apollotheater.org.
Say it again.
www.apollotheater.org. Come and see Machel alongside Nadia Batson, Voice, Skinny Fabulous, and GBM Neutron. My boy Farmer Nappy is gonna be there. They coming in on Sunday night. I mean, come on.
Big up GBM Neutron.
Big him up. I give him that name too. I gave it. Neutron was actually the percussion player, the drum machine player in my band. And I call him Boy Wonder Jimmy Neutron from the cartoon. And then we went to GBM Neutron. You ask him that anytime you see him.
Okay, I will.
All these guys are connected to Dahved Levy.
Everybody, listen, let's get some more Machel Montano music. Here we go.